Hi guys, hi, hello, welcome to our Journey to Destiny Boys and Girls Championship 2024 Roundup. You know, see what time it is? It's a after champs party, guys.
Listen,
We could not go to our beds tonight unless we had a conversation. And gentlemen, I want to welcome you. Welcome, Wade. And thank you so much for joining Davian from KLAS. Thank you so much for joining. I appreciate you being here. I know you're tired. It's been a long, hot day. Wade was at home in under
oh,
his air condition. So, you know, it wasn't hot for him. But we know it has been a really, really hot day on and off the track. So again, I want to welcome you guys, gentlemen, and thank you so much for joining. Guys, I want you to jump on real quick. Let's talk
mhm.
and um, let's talk and thank you again so much for joining. For all those who are going to be joining us, remember to share the live stream. Thank you so much for all those who have been liking and commenting and all of that. So big up on yourself. Davian and Wade, what a day it has been. Gentlemen, what a day. Day number 2 of Boys and Girls Championship.
Yeah, I mean the 100 meters, it's a highlight of any championships. People look forward to seeing the 100 meters, and 100 meters happened on today's second day, and it brought with it a lot of drama, lots and lots of drama. Even when the expected winner won, we saw lots of drama.
We're not going to talk about the 100 yet. Davian, no bother with it.
All right, no
So,
problem. So we start
so
from here.
we know
15.
you're a sprinter, you know. So just
No, me a long distance to last. Stop it nice.
okay, all right then. All right then. Wait, all right then. We're not going to talk about 100 just yet. We
Mhm.
know it was exciting, but we're not going to talk about it yet. I personally want us to look at the 1500 finals that we had today. And personally, I think that was the highlight of my day too. I don't know
Mhm.
about anybody else. Persons are probably going to say, oh, that's probably weird, really. But it was the highlight of my day too, because it came with a lot of surprises. It came with a lot of action. You would almost thought it was 100. Let's talk about the 1500s from class 3 to class 1, male and female.
Wait, I'll let you take the lead because I have something to say, and I want to hear what you say before I say what I have to say.
Well, for the 1500s, it was really good. It lived up to the expectation that I had going into the 1500 meters. It definitely did live up to the expectations. Um, Class 3 was extremely impressive for me. I liked Class 3 a lot. We mentioned the young man from Nooks from JC last night, Sunset, when
Pavel,
we met and spoke last night. Confident young man, very confident runner. He did something today that I've only seen before by real some outstanding caliber runners, which is at 250 meters to go when the young man from St. Jago came up against him and passed and was going to pass him. He looked at him and like he was saying, "Excuse me, what we're really doing?" And he maintained his composure, and when it came around the home stretch, he just unleashed and just fly back past him and looked at him again and just went on to glory. And that was very impressive. It showed a lot of maturity, especially for a class 3 athlete. That race was JC, Jago JC, so therefore JC getting 1-3 there. That was a real good and interesting run there. At class 3 for the girls, the defending champion was able to retain her title, and she did so impressively. Got some challenge from the Heidel girls who had some tussle between themselves at 100 meters to go coming off the curve. They ended up in second and fourth, I think that race, which was one rather in a faster time than last year, it says a lot about the middle distance. If you are able to defend your title, even though you would have gone 1 year up in class, but you're able to do it in a way that you are going faster, you have maintained your composure right throughout the race, stepped up when you needed to step up, and did what you needed to do to get to the destiny. It spelled good. Class two was a real shocker for me. I'm not gonna lie to you. When I was watching the class two race, I was like, what am I watching? Where is that burst of speed coming from with 200 meters to go? Samuel Creary of JC knew what the plan was going into the race, knew what he had to do to execute, and he did it perfectly. Ruta of KC had nothing to offer him when he came up to him in the home stretch. He did try to respond. Kerry went ahead and he just slowly did what he had to do. At the top, at the finish line, it looks like a tussle, but to me, looking at it from my end, I think it was really a convincing win, especially what he did coming in from 200 to go. And that was really interesting and a very good win there for me. At class one, I was hoping that the script would have maintained its status quo, which would have been a JC on top. But the Kingston College athlete, I don't remember his name right now, but the Kingston College athlete,
Brian Kiprop.
Kiprop, he would have had some challenges last year, even though he was the champion last year in class two. He did have some challenges last year. Throughout the season, he has looked very good. And I think he was prepared for the JC man to come along with some excitement at the end. 50 meters to go. The JC man pulled left and was trying, but he was unable to really pull off a successful feat to overhaul the Kingston College man. The times in the 1500 meters were not as impressive as in previous years, but they were very good, especially if you are to look at it compared to the global standard right now, where we are. Very good. Very good start to championships, a very good challenge there if you're looking at championship from a point stand, as well as from a psychological stand from JC stepping up to the defending champions KC and trying to take them where they would have recruited heavily in what they would have seen as the areas of opportunity for them. On the girls' side, I see Davian laughing like him. I said, what we that talk about? On the girls' side, Edwin Allen did what they had to do. Rikisha Sims looked very wonderful. I was really happy for her in class one, coming back to take back the title that was taken from her last year. Last year is the only time at Champs Rikisha Sims would have lost a race. And so she really came back and stood top of the podium. I'm missing class two. And I think part of the reason is because I don't remember what happened in class two. But I'm sure Davian will help me out there to fill in the blanks. But overall, from a 1500 meter standpoint, all classes, I think we really got some show in terms of the competition, the level of energy that was put out, especially within the last closing 200 meter and all classes. It shows maturity in the event. It shows that we also have a future in the event with our Jamaican guys as well as the youngsters who would have been here from other countries experiencing the champ experience as well as partaking within the school experience as well.
Sanzi, can I be controversial on your program?
Well, let's see how controversial you want to be.
I don't want to be too controversial. I don't want to get people upset and all in the feelings.
Let's hear what you got to say.
But I'm going to be a little bit controversial.
Okay.
A lot controversial. Wade, you mentioned that the battle in the 1500s classes 2 and classes 1. Jamaica College winning in class 2 through Samuel Creary, and Kingston College winning in class 1 through Kiprop. Now, what I'm going to be controversial about is this. Cavell Nooks for Jamaica College, by the way, won in class 3. What I'm going to be controversial about is this. Now, first of all, let me say it. I enjoy the fact that we're investing in the middle distances, and we're reaping the benefits of what is going on in the middle distances right now. With we see the guys Parkinson and Anderson and all of these guys, Tyrese Roden, doing well on the international and as well collegiate stage. So I enjoy the focus that has been placed in the middle distances. I enjoy that we've invested in the middle distances. So I'm not going to knock anybody, but I have to say at this point, the kind of investment that has been placed to bring people in from
It's
across
not
the
paying off.
globe.
It's not paying off, Davian.
Let me say, if I'm going to spend the kind of money that some of these schools are rumored to have spent to bring these guys in, it can't be a battle. I have to win for that kind of investment. It can't be a battle. I have to see somebody winning by 30 and 40 meters in the 1500 for it to really be an investment. And here's why I said that. There's the kind of money that you spend on these guys who are just about where our guys are. You can invest that right here in some local talent. Not saying that I don't want anybody from overseas in. I'm not saying that at all. I'm not saying that you shouldn't bring people in. But if you're bringing them in, they have to be much better than our guys. It can't be that everybody is here. They have to be up here. They have to be much better. They have to be pulling our guys to faster. It can't be that we are compete with them. If you're gonna invest that kind of money, you understand what I say, weird?
I understand what you're saying. I understand. And I'm going to play the devil's advocate here, Davian. When the initial investment was made, when Ariamana Rogers came
Rogers,
here,
let's go. Rogers was a good investment.
when
If
Rogers came here,
Rogers used to lap people at
all
champs,
right, there you go.
lap people,
So guess what happened now, Davian? When that investment was made, our local schools here realized that okay, this is an area of opportunity, and they now started to do recruitment. Just I know personally that some of these local schools went out and did recruitment personally for those distance because of Ariamana Rogers coming here and deciding that okay, cool, I am going to lap and lap. I remember being in the stadium Sunday and he lapped. I think he was 3 laps ahead of the field in the 5,000 meters open. And I was like, oh no, 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 no.
So he was obviously better than everybody else in Jamaica.
And that was a good investment.
Right. That was an investment that paid off. So what I'm saying now is if you're investing now or if you're reinvesting, the guys that you're going to reinvest in or that you're going to invest
get
in.
Some Aramani Rogers. That's what you're saying, Dave. Yeah, they should get some
Aramani Rogers. Get some 146 men from Kenya. There are lots of them. Yeah, get some 146 men from Kenya and let our guys who are running 148s and 150s now chase the 146 guys. I don't want to see you bring guys in from halfway around the world to come and run 152 for class 1. Get some people who are going to really.
Look like she bite her tongue in a day.
Man, we see it, man. But I'll give her
Davian, I totally understand what you're saying. And whilst I want to agree, you have to look at the fact that Brian mentioned it recently, right? Let me check and see if I am live. Just 1 second.
You are live. You are
live, man.
Okay.
Staying live.
So Brian mentioned it recently. Maybe you weren't on the podcast at that time, but Brian mentioned it that it is a good investment to bring in these athletes because it helps us. It helps, or hold on a second, it helps our athlete. So if you realize what's happening now, as Wade mentioned, is that a lot of the local athletes that didn't want to be doing the middle distance and the long distance, they're now taking it up. Because even last night, for example, in the steeplechase, when Wade mentioned that they had
The number of
two
entries
heats, right?
and
It
two
shows
heats.
that it shows that you know persons are saying, then if this person can come and do this, then I am training with this guy from whichever country, whether it's the Caribbean or Africa or the US or Canada or wherever, right? I'm training with this person. I am aiming to do better, right?
But
So before, it wasn't like that. So, you know, we
so,
probably have to give and take.
Sunset, there is part two to what you are saying as well. And part two to what you're saying is ISA has closed several loopholes that were in the system. Some of the loopholes were the transfer rule. So
Mhm.
before you had persons transferring from one school, and we knew this was happening, where you had some persons transferring to the bigger schools that had more resources that were able to finance and train these persons. What we're seeing now is with the transfer rule now, a lot of people do not want to move and have to sit a year out. I am in the best shape of my life. I'm running a PB the last 3 weeks that I'm on the circuit. Why would I not want to move to one of the top schools and then lose out on a complete year of running while I'm in my peak? That is one. And then two, the most recent rule that was announced was the level, the cap on the amount of foreign athletes, including Caribbean athletes, that a school can introduce within the champs year. If memory serves me right, I think they've limited to 5 new entries from within the Caribbean per school. What that now means, Sanset, is that all these resources are now going to have to be spread out right across the field. Being spread out right across the field for various schools also. What it then means is that you will now find some persons doing more work, doing more investment, pushing each other at that distance within the school. I remember as we speak about this, Kemai Campbell, for years, Kemai Campbell, Natalia Gould, Marlena Eubanks, they would have been at champs lapping people for several years. Now, what we are seeing is that investment is there right across the board, not just the lower schools. So, to Davian's
Wait,
point,
wait.
Sunset, is if we're going to import more to what we have, carry some higher grade quality than what we have.
That is what I'm
So he's
saying.
not hitting the bringing
No,
in, but
not at
he's
all.
saying if you're going to invest or you're going to
Bring
bring
in.
in some people that will really have to run down, not run with.
Exactly. That is my point, Wade. You hit it on the head, man. That's exactly.
Yeah,
So I'm
bring
not
in some
saying
people that we have to run down and not that we're running with.
wait. That is
People,
it.
it's two against one. Okay.
No. It's not two against one. What I'm not against bringing people in. I'm
I
not
understand.
against it. Bring them in. Bring in the throwers from Europe, and bring in the middle distance people from Africa, and bring in the throwers from Eastern Caribbean. Bring them in. Get them to Jamaica. But I'm saying if you're going to bring them in, bring in the 146 800. Bring in the 60-meter discus throwers, bring in the 19 and the 20 and the 21-meter shot
Shot
putters.
putters.
Bring in the very, very best of the world. Bring them come. We don't want people who are on our standards, because if you're going to bring them come to Jamaica, you're going to have to invest so much money on bringing them in. And that money can be spent on maybe 2 or 3 athletes out here in Jamaica. So I'm not against bringing in
Da-
people. Bring them in, but bring the
Davian,
very best. And
Davian, we have to be careful what we ask for, though, Because
no, man.
remember we brought in Alfred, and Kevin usually whop up Alfred, And
No.
now, when you look at the reverse,
So we
when
are
you
saying
look
we're
when you
bringing
look at
some
the
people I run
reverse,
with him now, but later on in the career, them are gonna run left
I,
way.
I mean, after the 100 meters was finished this afternoon,
Yes.
somebody sent me a snapshot of 6 years ago when Kevin won that class to 100 meter.
Uh-huh.
Julian Alfred was third in 11.64 when Kevin Davis ran 11.16. Now Kevin Davis is nowhere compared. to where Julian Alfred is. So even though we're saying to send the 146 and support come, let us also be a little careful what we ask for too.
I don't mind competition, Wade. If them say iron sham iron, more some iron. Bring some iron come. So we're not saying don't bring the people them from wherever you're getting them from. I'm just saying I want another era area.
Aramana Rogers.
Yeah, want another Aaron Rodgers where we can say, all right, he's ahead, so now we're chasing him down, and not that
Running with
he's
him.
at the same level. You understand? I want somebody who we can use as a rabbit, so to speak, so we can get better, because that must be the aim of bringing these people in. It's not just to compete, because we're already competing. The aim must be for us to get better, and we can't really get better if it's people on our level that we're bringing in. So bring in some 146 people for 800 and maybe some 350 1500 people. Bring them in. I want to see them at champs.
But Davian, while we're discussing this and we're asking for more for some faster pedigree to come in. Overall, though, looking at Jamaica's positioning now at 800, 1500, would you agree with me that Jamaica is at its best right now when it comes to 800, 1500?
Absolutely. On the male side of things, that's not even a question. We just had the national record being broken last year by
2
Navaski.
consecutive years.
Yeah. So, and then, no, I'm not even talking about champs. I'm talking nationally. And
No,
this,
man, the Navaski Anderson broke the national
Bro,
record
yes,
2
he broke it.
consecutive years.
That's right. So, and then with the champs record keeps on going. It's never safe. The 800 record is never safe. Somebody just seems to come up each. So on the male side, I think absolutely, and that's where the spark has been going. That's where the spark was lit by Aaron Rodgers and Benson. We can't forget Benson and
Yeah,
Kemar
that's
Atkinson.
5,000 meters, you know.
Yeah. So that's where the spark was lit for me. So that's where it's happening on the male side of things. I'd love to see the women advancing more, but I can tell you it will happen eventually. So we're in a better place now. We are absolutely in a better place now. And it is because we brought in the likes of Rogers here to ignite that spark. So I'm not saying don't bring them in. All I'm saying is I want to see
Bring better quality.
Put it power, man, and make we get
Bring better quality.
Put it on us, let us get upset, and then come back next year if we beat the 146 man them. That's what I want to see. I want to see the middle distances advancing. Not saying don't bring them in, but there's so many 147s, 148s, 800 guys in Rift Valley. We must can get a couple of them. Must. So
but Davian, back to champs now. Overall,
Mhm.
would you say that the best performance of all that you've seen today at 15? For me, even though Nook did very well, I think Samuel Creary, because I don't think he has ever won a medal at champs before.
No. So for me, Samuel Query did outstandingly well. I mean, the champs fever, and you're going up against somebody who many people thought, hey, it's a foregone conclusion, unbeatable, and you beat him. I mean, for me, that was the performance of the 1500 meters. So I'm happy for the young man. He's had such a hard time over the years at champs, injuries, mishaps, all sorts of things, and to get it done, I'm happy for him.
Yes, totally appreciate that, guys. I mean, it's you can hear the passion coming out. You know, people, the passion.
It's almost 11:30. I was still.
I know, yeah, but I mean, I want to agree, and I'll agree. You know, based on everything that you're saying, because I mean, at the end of the day, when our athletes go out to run, starting from the local championship, we want them to, excel and be better. So if we can take in somebody that's gonna help us to get better, by all means. Um, we have tomorrow, I think, the 400-meter finals,
Yes.
Yes.
and we would have had some of the semifinals happening. Just share your thoughts briefly.
400 meters. 400 meters. I think we are in to see some exciting races tomorrow. I'm not sure the times that we will see will take us to where the records are currently at right now, but I think we are in to see some exciting races. At class three, I don't see 52-52 breaking at class three, but I can tell you that 52-53 is Anisha McLaughlin. 52-52 is Anisha McLaughlin's class three record. I don't see that moving this year, but I can tell you that I definitely see where there will be some very good running at the class three level for the girls. The semifinals there today looked impressive. I really liked what I saw from the Homewood athlete. I can't remember her name right now. I think her name is Traciana. She
Oh,
looked
Tracy and Evans.
Yes, Tracy and Evans looked impressive for me today. I really like what I saw from her going out, taking it on. The ideal athletes are always going to be there at 400 meters. But I like her. She stood out to me today. For the class three boys, this is going to be a cracker of a final tomorrow. Uh, the Jago young man, I think his name is Richards, who run 450.40, looked very well. I see some running coming from JC's Lawrence. I see some running coming from Black Up them behind. He was impressive for me running in those long tights still. And I'm like, okay, he did that for the rounds. Now we're at the semifinals. I really thought that he would have gotten down into more gears that would not have pulled him back. But he went out there in those long tights still, what we would call warm-up tights, and he looked real good. I think they have a lot to offer. We know that Christopher Taylor record is a little bit out of anybody's zone right now. However, I think we will definitely see some running there tomorrow in the class three 400 meters on the boys' side. I think of all the 400 meters that we will see tomorrow, the class two girls is going to be super interesting. Sanoya Douglas. That's her name, Sanzet?
Sanoya.
Oh,
Shanoya Douglas looks
Yes.
impressive. She looks confident. She looks like she is ready for anything that Jodie and Daly, the defending champion, will throw at her. As a matter of fact, they were in the same semifinals today, and Daly could not keep up. Could not keep up any at all. I think Kellyanne Carr of Edwin Allen has a lot that she is going to offer when they get to the finals tomorrow. But for me, I am keeping my money on Douglas tomorrow. That is going to be a pretty interesting race, but I think it is also going to be very exciting. Will they get to 51.60 by Chrisann Gordon? I doubt that they will get to 51.60, but I believe if Douglas is pushed, she will definitely take it out and probably break that 52-second barrier and come down to 51. 51.60, that would be extremely magical, but I think we will see some excitement there at class two. On the boys' side, I like Nikai Bramwell. He looked, I want to use the term mature in how he delivered today.
Confident.
He looked like he just came out to qualify. Between the first round and the second round, I'm looking. I'm just looking to see what he will produce and how he will produce. But he will definitely have some company at the top of the podium for the top of the podium, rather, from Markel Smith from KC. Demario Bennett from Exed looks very good. Mattison from William Nib. I think he is a dark horse in this race. Uh, it will be pretty interesting. I am very glad to see that Chardian Fleming from Manchester made that final running an new PB
Yes.
of 48.68, and that is interesting. When I look at the times that the Class 2 boys were running, it said something that we are heading in the right direction when it comes to the 400 meter, the 400 meters, and I'm excited to see the Class 1 girls. Abigail Campbell looking smooth, relaxed, easy, smiling right throughout, finishing looking very good. I know she will face some running in the earlier part of the race, but I think this will be her day to shine, and she will shine very well there as it relates to the Class 1 girls for 400. I think the Edwin Allen pair of Bedford and Fox will have a lot to say about the race as well. Williams from Stets also looked very good as well. But I think this one is really going to be Abby against the clock. Get to Sanita Sutherland's record. I doubt it as well. I think that record 51.25. I doubt she will get there as well, but it promises to be a very good one. For the Class 1 boys, I strongly believe that that's a Quinella for Kingston College. It will definitely be a race between Rose and Glasgow for the title, and it will be a hard-fought battle for third place. If any shake-up will happen between the top two, I think Barrett, Omari, and Robinson rather from JC, who would have placed second in Class 2 last year ahead of Bromwell, I think he would be the one to make a shake at the top two should Glasgow and Marcinia Rose have any challenges to deliver. But I do not see them not being able to deliver and take it home to Aquinella for Kingston College tomorrow. Overall, I think the 400 meters will live up to what we would have expected. But in terms of a major clash of the Titans, I think it will come in Class 2, both on the boys as well as on the girls' side.
Totally. And I can agree with you on that way. Today I saw Bromwell and I was thinking to myself, he is confident. I mean, he runs the race. He ran basically composed and all of that. 1 second, let me just add back Davian. He ran composed. He was just in a class by himself. But then a part of me was also thinking like he almost did not make it.
No, there was no doubt of him making it, but he was a little too comfortable for comfort.
Yeah, which he almost did not make it because he was just there running like, okay, I'm strolling in the park. I got this. But then other persons are chasing and they're chasing and they're chasing because everybody wants to make the finals, but I am happy that he did. And we can just expect something, great in the finals. David, what are your thoughts?
For Bromwell, I want to just mention, Bromwell has a task on his hands in that he's going to be doing one of the toughest doubles at the championships, the 400, 200 double. He's ran day one, he ran day two today. He's going to run tomorrow as well, the finals of the 400. And before the finals of the 400, he's going to run the heats of the 200. Then he comes back on Friday to run the semis of the 200 and the finals of the 200 on Saturday.
And
he
even possibly the
4x1.
4x1.
Yeah, I'm going to get there. He has the 4x1s.
And the heats start tomorrow.
Right. I don't think they're going to use him in the heats, though. But on Saturday, he's going to have the 4x1s. And he'll certainly have the 4x4s to do. Still only Class 2. That's a lot of work that you're asking him to do. And I
Yeah.
think what he may be doing is just to say to himself, say to his body, listen, you only have 4 races that you're going to need to put the big ones in. That's the finals of the 400 tomorrow, finals of the 200 on Saturday, and then the 4x1 and the 4x4 on Saturday. So I think he's trying to save himself as much as possible. If you know Nicole Bromwell any at all, I don't want to get myself in trouble, but he's a very, very confident young man. He's
Yes.
confident in himself and he believes that he's better than everybody else. I'll put it right out there. He believes that he is number one and that nobody can beat him. So he's going to do stuff like that. And when you have athletes like a Nicole Bramwell, who is really special, sometimes you have to see with that side of them. You have to understand that side of them and allow them to do their thing. And I think come tomorrow in the finals, I'm expecting a different Nicole Bramwell. I'm expecting him to go out hard from gun and to dismiss the field and at 300 meters to assess where he's at. And you might find that he doesn't go for the record. He might just go for the win.
I don't believe in that tactic for him. I think he's going to go easy for the first two
And
and
then
ensure for the second two going home. He's in a definitive position. I have a slightly different outlook for Nikai Bramwell than you do, Davian. I think he's really saving his energy for that 200 meters. Remember, there's $200,000 for breaking a record at 200 meters. So I think maybe he's looking at the 200 meters to say, hey, remember, he really loves the 200 meters. If you really ask him, he loves the 200.
That's
So
his event.
I think he's holding as much there to give himself a lot of room in the 200. But then again, he has a lot of heavy lifting to do this championships. A lot is riding on him. So therefore, I completely agree with you that he could be holding his cards for when he really needs them the most.
And that's a lot of maturity for only class two, because not a lot of athletes, even senior athletes, are able to do that. I mean, I couldn't do that, I just couldn't do that. 200, 400, and you have them so close, not a lot of recovery time, and it speaks to his maturity, so kudos to him, and let's see what happens tomorrow. We'll talk about, Wade mentioned the class 2 400 and
For
the
girls.
for girls, yeah. And we would have shared Shania. I mean, a little rising star coming up. She is like an ex Bramwell. She's very confident in what she's able to do, which is a good thing. And I have seen Heidel, Jodian, and
Anastasia
Fletcher as well. So it's not going to be easy. I don't think anybody is just going to go out there and say, okay, Shania, this is yours. You're new on the block. Just take it away, and she's not going to do the same. I really think that just maybe we might see a record. I don't know. Davian, what are your thoughts?
I don't think so. I'm going to agree with Wade, and for one particular reason.
Okay.
The preliminary round of the 400 meters, where I saw Shania Douglas do 53.3, 53.39 in the preliminary rounds. It was a complete opposite of what Nicole Bromwell did in his preliminary round heat. She went out hard for the first 300 and then coasted home for the final 100. She has the same double as Nicole Bromwell. That's a 400, 200 double. She's going to be running the 200 in the mornings before she gets to the 400 finals. She has already run 800 meters. Add another 200 meters to that. That's 1,000 kilometers. 1 kilometer of running before she gets to the finals of the 400. I think that's going to be a lot to ask for her. to go down to 51.6 after doing so much running. So I don't see a record coming. But as Wade said, she's so good, and she's becoming so good now, that if the likes of Daly and Fletcher push her, she may just drop a 51 on everybody's head. 51.9, maybe.
But
But 50, no.
Devian, I
Mhm.
I actually do not see Daly or Fletcher pushing her. I see Car from
Killian
Emerald
Carr.
pushing her.
Mhm. Yeah, I mean, let me put it out there, Wade. I think she's so good that if everything is equal, if everything goes well for her, she will have that finals her own way. She's capable of going places that these other girls cannot go. We saw
Yes.
it at the Rifta trials where she did 22.8, slightly wind aided, but it's still 22.8. No one in that field, no one in that 400 meters final field can run at 200 meters in 22.8 or even close to it. So she has tools that those girls do not have. So if she's able to put a race together, I think she can go places that they can't. Simple as that.
All right. So the 400 promises to be hot tomorrow, people. Hot, hot,
But
hot.
Sunset,
So make sure you find yourself
I
at the
wanted to
National
hear what
Stadium
Davian
tomorrow.
has to say about class one, boy and girl. I definitely want to hear what he thinks as we
I
are going to
mean,
class one.
for the boys, I can't see Casey not getting
The
one.
Quinella.
I mean, I, that's one of the surest Quinellas for tomorrow. It, I mean, you look at it. Glasgow went 46 last year. I don't think he's gone 46 this year just yet, but he looks as if is in good shape. Um, and then Marcino Rose. I mean, at Curve Child didn't come for the finals, but in the semifinals he did 21-1-4, right? 21-1-4. Again, there are few athletes in Jamaica who can match with that. So Marcina Rose, like Shania Douglas, has tools that others do not have. And I think if he puts it together, if he puts the race together, he is going to go sub 46. I really and truly believe that. The fastest schoolboy this year at the 400 meters, 46.3, I think he's gotten down to this year. And I think the Quinella, for me, if you want to put your money on a Quinella, it's going to be the boys
The
class
boys for class one boys
400.
400.
Yeah. On the girl side of things, class one, I want to say I'm going to go with Abigail Campbell because I think she's really quality. She's going to be running out of lane number 7, I think. And that means that she's going to have some really good competition on her inside. Not Nastasia Fox of Edwin Allen is going to be on our outside. We can't discount her any at all. Quiana Walker is going to be in 4. Beckford in 6.
It's 6
Yes, yes, yes. So those are some of the, as well as Williams of Stets. But
of
I,
stats.
yeah, but I think I'm leaning and I'm edging towards Abigail Campbell. She made the switch over from Ferncourt to Heidel. Sat out last year, class one now, and I think for me, I think she's going to be my favorite in that um, finals. But again, you can't discount the quality on her inside and even on her outside. We go to the 100 meters now.
No, we're taking a break. So there you have it, guys. Ensure that you get to the stadium tomorrow to see all the happenings because it's going to be a lot of excitement,
Yep.
right? So we're gonna get to the 100 right now. The 100 meters. I mean, class 3, I just couldn't understand what happened to Scott. Can somebody tell me
Well,
what happened to Rihanna
I think she
Scott?
cramped. She was cramping at the well, I don't think she was cramping at the start line. She had the medics working on her. They're rubbing her out, and the coach was standing over her. And it was a big discussion that was going on about whether or not she could run because she had that cramp right at the start line. And I think that took away from what promised to be a really good finals between herself and Johnson of Heidel. We've been looking forward to that clash all season. And I still think that clash did not happen because we did not see the Rihanna Scott that
That we saw
we
all season.
all season. Didn't see it. Um,
Well,
Unfortunate.
on our end, from TV Land, we were told that after she finished the semi, she was taken to the medical tent and she was clear to run. So it seemed as though she had some issues from after the semifinals. From my end, though, Davian, what I saw, it looked a little different to me rather than cramps. I,
Mm.
based on my looking at it and my experience, I honestly believe that maybe she had a panic attack. It looked to me like she had a panic attack based on how she was trembling with her hands and trying to work it out her legs. At one point, she was laying in lane 7, and they were working on her breathing, steadying her arms. It looked to me as though she probably had a panic attack. She would have been between 10 and 12 years old, showing up at a championships. You're hearing about champs all the time. You're showing up. This is your first time at such a big stage. You're looking at this big old crowd there, people making noise. You're lining up against who people would have talked about all season. And for me, I think maybe there was some level of anxiety there. It could be more, but based on my looking at it, it looked as though some level of anxiety. And when she got out for the first 30 meters, I at one point I thought she was going to stop. But then she really got into it, and I was like to myself, if this was 120 meters, they could not beat her because her top end speed kicked in at 70 meters and she was just cutting the field, getting to it. I think as her experience grows, as well as her ability to manage, she will be a force to be reckoned with.
Mm. I
Her
agree.
running style looks very well for such a young age. She responds to the starter very well, out of the blocks very good. And from you saw that in the finals, then you realize that something was definitely wrong with her, really. But I think she's definitely one for the future. I'm really happy that she made it to the podium, irrespective of everything. That will boost her confidence. That will tell her that no matter what happened, if it is cramps, if it is anxiety, if it is something that we don't know about, you can manage despite anything that you go through in life because the road is not going to be paved with gold every day. You will have some potholes. And she definitely, from such a young age, came out, did what she could, made it to the podium. A lot of athletes were at their very best in that finals and didn't make it to the podium. And she was able to. So we definitely have to commend her, even though we didn't see the clash that we wanted to see. What we saw was an athlete fighting through it and making it to the podium.
And you know, Wade, this is where champs comes in.
Yeah.
Um, I
Build those
mean,
areas.
yeah, Johnson would have been a star from primary school if you know about her.
Yes.
Representing Exchange Primary, I think it was. Winning at primary champs level medals. I would have interviewed her at primary champs, and she got the limelight, and she knows about what it is to be probably not on the big champ stage, but she knows what it's like to have a camera on.
Competition.
Right. So she would have had that experience and that edge over Scott. But as I said, this is where champs comes in. Because without a champs, Scott would not have had the opportunity at such a young age to have a crowd and have this hype and people looking forward to seeing the event should not have had that opportunity at such a young age. So she gets that out of the way early, and she gets a few more years to experience that, to be born again, so to speak, in the cauldron that is the National Stadium, the Mecca, the Medina of Jamaica's track and field. She gets that experience. So when she goes pro or when she goes to college, she already knows what it's like, and it's not something new to her. It's not something that she's learning. She's already learned it here in Jamaica.
Facts. Can't disagree. Can't disagree.
Am I
Shanti,
the only one that's not seen myself?
Yeah, with that scene, you know, over there,
you're
you got
frozen.
I'm not sure what's happening. Just give me 1 second.
But Sunset, while you fix and get yourself to back up again, class 3 lived up to what we expected it to be. Oh, you wanted to see that Yeast and Etienne battle?
No, class 3, I thought you were talking about the boys, man.
Oh no, man! Since we started with the girls, I
We
just
stick with the girls?
yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, remember the girls run, then the boys run and so forth. So therefore, from class 4, we definitely
So
go
we stick with the
into
girls. Now
yeah.
go
We're
to the
going into
boys.
the East. We're going into the East and Etienne battle. I'm a little disappointed. I was expecting more from Etienne based on what the discussions and the hype would have been the times that she would have run. But she started out bullet fast. But the minute East drew level, the minute Naturally East drew level with her, the race was done.
Yeah.
Completely done. The young lady from St. Jago did very well to come
Adora.
through and doing very
Dora.
well. But
Yeah.
personally speaking, even though we saw that the race was run in a PB, I was expecting a little bit more on the time. Right across the board, I was expecting way more on the time. We don't even let us get to class 1, Davian, because we know we're gonna clash at class 1, 100% clash. But I was expecting a little bit more on the time. But in terms of the placements, I don't think the statistician would have gotten it too wrong in terms of what the top 3 would have looked like at class 3. So
No.
therefore, it lived up to what the expectation was. I really enjoyed the class 3 boys 100 meters. I'm not sure if I'm a fan of the technique of Ross. That
No, man.
technique need a whole heap of work.
And this is not disrespect to the young man. This is not.
Definitely
Nah,
because
disrespect to Mr.
because
Ross.
he had
You know what?
fast.
Let me be
He's
diplomatic in
he's
my
still young.
response. Let me be
He's still young, so
Yeah.
they can fix it.
Yeah, let me be absolutely diplomatic in my response. Mr. Ross, sir, if you're listening, if anyone from Mario Ross is listening, once you're able to get the kind of technique that we are looking forward to seeing you
Problem.
in future, once you
Problem.
get that technique down pat, you're going to be a star, sir.
Problem.
Yes.
In terms of speed, this young man is just fast. He's not
Yes.
running left people because him have high knee lift and him hands are come up and down and him
Raw
forward.
speed.
Him just a run.
Raw speed.
Him just a run. You see, when somebody, well, I'm not going this the whole man's coach because I know
when
he-
he's
When
he's put into sprinting form.
problems.
Problems.
The man hands over his head like this. When he's running, his hands over his head like this and his head up in the ear. There's no coaching manual in this world that you're going to look into and say hands over your head and your head up in the ear and all of that. So he has a lot that
But-
he can fix.
But David, even though from an analytical standpoint we are seeing it, guess what? That you're looking at 1089 right there.
Man, that's
1088.
fast.
You're looking at
He's just
1088
fast.
right there. That is extremely fast. And you're looking at someone who doesn't necessarily have the proper techniques, coming out of the blocks very slow and gradually cutting
He's
the
just
field. He's
fast.
not reacting. He's not reacting Outer, oh my God, I'm behind. He is just running and just running,
he
as
he
you say.
knows he's fast and he trusts his speed. And for someone so young, I think that is important. To learn to trust their speed, because they're seniors, they're pro athletes who to this day, after being in track and field for years and years, have not learned to trust them speed. As soon as they come under a little bit of pressure, they
Them
start to break
buckle.
down and do all kind of thing, all kind of madness. Excuse me. They need to be either with the field or ahead of the field for them to do well. They don't do well with pressure. And for someone that young to trust his speed, to know that, hey, even though I'm a little bit behind, I'm just as fast, or I'm faster than these guys. And even though them over there with them pretty sprinting style, with them high knee lift and them knee up in at them chest, all sort of thing, even though they have that perfect technique and I do not, I'm faster than them. That for me is the most important part. You can teach technique, folks. You can teach it.
You can't
You
teach
can't teach
speed.
speed.
Can't
Can't
teach
teach
speed.
speed. Simple.
Class two young ladies, Tiana Lee, Terry Long. A lot of people are disappointed based on the expectation.
Mhm.
As a Tiana Lee Terry Long fan for a long, long
A
time,
lot of people wait.
I am super happy. Of course, a lot of people. Well, the whole Jamaica, the
No, and I think
whole
I say a lot of people.
world.
Even Terry Long herself is disappointed. Did
She
you
is
see
disappointed, and I want that disappointment to be channeled to the 200
200?
meters, where she will have a lot of work on her hands, and
Mhm.
200 meters at the finishing line waiting for her. I did reach out to my friends in Frankfield to say to them, look, channel that disappointment into a record at 200 meters, $200,000 at 200 meters. Tiana Lee Terry Long is 16 years old. She will be 17 in October. We have World Under 20s this year. She has the Carifta Games coming up next week. There are a lot of opportunities for her. She's first year class two. And so I am very happy that she was able to pull another one out of the bag. Yes, the time was a little underwhelming, but also remember 11:22 is also a personal best. So she did what she needed to do to make it to the top of the podium. It is the first I've seen, she's not a good starter, but the first 30 to 40 meters was a mess. Is the first I've ever seen that. But Davian, I am going to say something, and I don't know if you'll agree with me. But going back to the conversation we had about Mario Ross just now, he stayed composed when he saw persons out in front of him. I strongly believe that Tiana Lee Terry Long flustered when she saw a very fast starting Sabrina Dakri out ahead of her. I saw her between 40 and 60 meters take some steps. They were volcanic, those steps that she took when she went into overdrive. I strongly believe that she responded to what she would have seen in front of her. But again, she knew she had the superior speed. She knew that her top end speed was very good and it was able to pull her where she needed to be. I think the disappointment is why we are seeing her reaction and a lot of persons' reaction. But some of the time we have to take the expectation out of the field. Suppose we had the expectation and she ended up having a fast start, that would have been a whole different conversation. And we would have seen with pressure sometimes some of the best athletes buckle under pressure and either fail to register or even fail to even get out of the blocks to get to where they want to go. Good run by Tiana Lee Terry Long. New PB 11:22. A lot of room for improvement based on the race, but a bright future.
I mean, for me, I think the team at Frankfield has to take her aside tonight. They should have already taken her aside, have a serious sit down and conversation with her about how she manages the emotions of that 11. I mean, you win and you run a personal best 11-2. First year class 2, you have to sit
First
her
year class
down.
two.
Yeah, just sit her down, let her know, listen, although everything that you wanted didn't come this day, you still have next year. You're still class 2 next year. If you really want Kevona Davis's record, you can go for it next year. But refocus, come again. We have a championships to win. The 200 is going to be crucial in that championships. As I said, some money on the line as well. Go out there, channel that energy, that disappointment, that anger that you have inside of you. Channel it into the 200 meters and get the job done. Simple as that.
I'm going to give both of you less than 5 minutes to just quickly talk to me about the class 2 boys
Mm-hmm.
and the class 1 girls and the boys. Real quick, who want to go first? I think
I
I
think
lost.
I think we lost Wade, so I'll go real quickly. I mean, Naron Wade getting the job done for Kingston College. He lost at the corporate area development meet to Malik Nugent, who finished second here at Champs. But the truth is, since that defeat at corporate area Champs, Naron Wade has looked like a different athlete, and he's looked like the top man in class too. And that proved itself here, or proved itself tonight in terms of where he finished. Did a good time as well, 10-4, 10-4-5, I think it was. So kudos to him. Kudos also to Malik Nugent. I mean, can't ask for more than that. You get beaten by the man who comes in looking really the form athlete. We'll jump to class 1. I'll take the girls first. Big up to Aliyah Baker. I have to say that.
Yeah.
Aliyah Baker is, I don't know, what can she do? What can she do? She does
Walk
everything.
fast.
Maybe,
Hmm.
maybe, maybe,
Yeah.
maybe,
Maybe she can even walk fast too.
maybe.
She's an
But
exceptional athlete.
yeah, she can hurdle, she can do the quarter mile, she can sprint, understand
Yes.
she can jump as well. So I mean, Aliyah Baker is an all-around athlete. She's captain of the Heidel team, and Heidel needed her to come out tonight and get the job done. I keep on using that word, get the job done, or using that phrase, and she got the job done, and she did it in fantastic time as well. I mean, ten
Yeah.
three. We weren't expecting, well, personally, I was expecting something like 10-4 to win. And so she took it to another level for me and took 2/10 of a second off her personal best. So I'm happy for her. I'm happy with the time. And I hope she sticks with the 100, because if she does, with the kind of improvement that she's already making, she might be onto something. For the boys, I know he didn't win, but I also have to big up another captain, Yuri Lawrence Clark.
Yes.
Snuck into that semi-final, into the finals. Snuck into the semi-finals, was only third in his semis, and many people were saying, "Well, it doesn't look like that." But he kind of reminds me of Kim Collins. Kim Collins said, "Listen, you just need to put the time on the board, go out and do your best, and then wherever that puts you, that puts you. You don't need to run." I remember the quote quite well. You don't need to run 9 8s and 9 7s. You run your 10 zeros, and then you see where that puts you. And everybody else runs slower than you win. And I think that was what Yuri Clark did tonight. He did a fantastic job to get out there and get in through the top 3. Don't want to spend too much time on that though, because you have to mention the winner, Mr. Miller from Excelsior. I mean, Excelsior, they have done a fantastic job of just getting the sprinters ready for champs. And I think Damore Miller has a lot more to give. You know, when the lineup was going for the boys class 100 meters, I was looking at all the other sprinters. I was looking at Hector Benjamin and even Yuri Clark, and I was looking at all of them, and I was saying, but this man looked the least sprinter-ish out of all of them. He is his physique says that he maybe can put on a little bit more and put muscle or body or whatever, and that should help him to get a little bit faster, because really and truly he doesn't look as if he's ever seen a gym. So I mean, when you get that gym work in, he probably is going to get faster. But in terms of sprinting, he's silky smooth. So I mean, congratulations to the man coming into the season. Who would have thought it? Everybody was talking about Hector Benjamin, who, by the way, stumbled at the start. Everybody was talking about DeAndre Daly and how they're going to battle that 10 seconds barrier and who's going to get there first. DeAndre Daly 10:08. All of that talk, all of that went through the window, and it was Miller of Excelsior who got the win. So congratulations to the man. He did what he needed to do, and he goes home a champs gold medalist at the 100 meter. That's a big deal.
It is definitely a big deal. Wade, I'm sorry, you got 2 minutes.
So I came back in the middle of the conversation. I have to congratulate Alia Baker. This was really a hat out of the bag. I didn't see this one coming any at all. Any at all. Sunset, you know, when we spoke about it, it looked unrealistic to me. But
Yeah.
you have to big up the coach. The coach would have done an assessment, looked at his team, and also look at the field and see where she's best needed. And right now, it is not in the 400-meter hurdles. It is not at 400 meters. It is at 100 meters. She has never won a champs gold medal, and just look at it. The events that she has been running over the years is not what has given her a champs gold medal. It is the 100 meters, the blue ribbon event, and given Heidel year over year, a 2-year consecutive win at 100 meters for Class 1 girls. That's definitely the hat out of the bag there for her. Good run by the rest of the field. I was happy to see Michaela Gardner making it to the podium. I was really looking out for Taylor from Edwin Allen. She reminds me definitively of a Shelley and Fraser Price. I think over time, if you look at her running form, Davian, when you get a chance, look at it and we definitely can talk about it. But she's diminutive, just like Shelley, out of the blocks, looked
Explosive.
controlled. But she just doesn't have the speed to take her there. But big up to Alia Baker on her victory. Now, when we get to the Class 1 boys, I am a little in awe, but I'm also a little disappointed. Then I'm a little conflicted. I'm a lot of emotions, Sunset, when it comes to the Class 1 boys. The winner would have placed 8 last year in the finals, moving from 8 last year to first this year. That's a big improvement. You have to big him up as it relates to that. DeAndre Daly not making it to the finals was one of the big shocks for a lot of sport-loving people, but not necessarily for persons who are following the sport to know the progress and the development. Personally speaking, I thought he would have made it to the final and even got onto the medal podium. I'm a little disappointed that he did not do either. But then, as I've always said, and everybody has said it from an analytical standpoint, champs is not run on paper. Champs is run at who starts the starting block, get to the starting block, and finish the race. And we would have seen that with Sabrina Dockery yesterday for them heats, where she was removed, then added back, then coming back, and the question is really about when you get there and how you do it. The 100 meter for the Class 1 boys, this is the slowest 100 meters in about 10 years. And coming from the fastest 100 meters to the slowest in about 10 years, it sends a little red flag off for me in terms of the development. But then when you look at the guys, and I did send it to you, Sunday, at 7:04, that the 100 meters will be won in 10:33. Miller took it down 200ths of a second down to 10:31, and it was kind of obvious, Davian, when you look to see everybody making the finals was running a PB in the 10:40s. You had to ask yourself how much more will they able to give, and it came off like a thousandth of a second. and so forth. So I rounded it down into the 10:30s range. Very proud of Kimani Garden. He looked at one point, I thought he was going to actually win the race. A first year class one man stepping up, challenging. Yes, first year class one. Stepping up,
Yeah.
challenging, running very well.
And after what
very
happened to him last year, remember what happened to him last
after
year?
what happened to him last year, there you go. Redemption.
Redemption.
And I think looking at this and looking at his race, I think next year we can definitely look out for something special. I was happy for Yuri Lawrence. I'm going to be very honest there. I was happy for him. I was surprised after his semifinals, and I was a little concerned. But again, Davian, that interview that you're referencing to from Kim Collins was a 2005 interview, and that's the same year he won the World Championships at 100 meters. Yuri Clark went in. He knew what the matter of KC is. Go into the final, score as much points as possible. Tonight, as much points as possible was third place. He pulled it out of the bag. He did what he needed to do. Put his school on the map. Closed the gap at the leaderboard with JC. JC only able to score 2 points from Hector Benjamin. I think what we saw was really a changing of the guards. We all had ideas heading into championships, heading into the semifinals, what the outcome could have been like, but the script was rewritten. And I think that's the only race of all the 100 meters that the script was rewritten in the class one boys. But it has not been rewritten in a bad way. Miller is a 400-meter runner, Davian. And what we would have seen this year at 100 is a lot of 400-meter runners coming down to the 100. Sabrina Dockery, Campbell,
Yes.
all the 3 medalists in class 2 100 meters. The silver and the bronze medalists are all 400-meter runners. The 100-meter in class 1 is a 400-meter runner. Everybody is going the route of Sharika Jackson, Fred Curley. They are stepping down.
Some
And
of guys Usain Bolt as well.
They are weekend sprint as well. But good luck. Congratulations to the winners. A little disappointed in the time, especially at class 1, both boys and girls. New champions, underdogs, persons that a lot of people wouldn't have picked to be there. But at the end of the day, again, a race is not run on paper. It is run at the end, at the finishing line.
Can I get 30 seconds real quickly, Sands?
Only 30 seconds.
Yeah, so I want to say to Wade, I'm not necessarily disappointed by the times, and here's why. When you lose a Hector Benjamin who stumbled, injured part of the season, when you lose a DeAndre Daly, injured, who ran 10:08 last season, when you lose a Javon Dunkley who did well last year, 10:17 last year, but who decided not to come back to
forego
pro. And when you have youngsters like Shaquan Gordon and Kimani Gordon who finished second in the semifinals, it says that talent is still there. It just didn't happen on the day. It just didn't click on the day. So that sometimes happens, and we can't beat the youngsters for that.
Definitely not.
That's for the boys. On the girl side of things, remember, Alana Reed, who set the record last year, she could have come back this year. Kerika Hill, who beat
champs, still class 1 at champs.
Right, so she could have come back this year. So when you lose that kind of talent from a class, it's hard to replace them immediately. And then you look at what's coming up now in class 2 and coming into the class 1 for the next year or two. You have to be encouraged. So again, it just didn't click, and it's going to happen sometimes where it just doesn't click in a class, and it just doesn't click on the night in that class. So it happens, and I'm not worried any at all. The talent that I saw right across the board, we're still there.
Can't disagree. Definitely can't disagree.
Indeed, we are still there and we're still here. I mean, interesting discussion, gentlemen, and I have to say thank you so much. Good night, Kermit, even though you joined in the latter part of the discussion, but I still want to thank you nonetheless for joining. Kermit Taylor out of the Bahamas. So remember to share the live, like it, guys, and also subscribe and watch the entire live. Watch all of it. We know it's long, but it's very informative. You might find out about an athlete that you did not know and you have been watching track and field for years. So tomorrow we have the 400 finals. We also have the 200 prelims. So guys, and we have some field event finals tomorrow.
800 prelims as
It
well tomorrow.
promises
I mean, Sunset,
and the
just
800.
before we going on, I have to big up St. Diego. That young lady from St. Diego, 1644, breaking that record. I think that's the only record so far
Yes,
at Champs that has been broken. So therefore, we definitely have to say some big up
Smith,
to her.
Tamika Smith. Tamika?
Mika Smith.
Smith,
Yes,
Smith
Smith.
from St. Jago's. She did very well, looking very easy. Some very good consistent throws over the 16-meter marks. The long jump at class one looked pretty interesting too. At one point, we nearly was having two Wade brothers taking the gold medals in class 200 and the long jump. However, Jamaica Colleges, I don't remember his name last, no, transfer from St. Jago to JC.
Israel.
Israel coming through to deny the older Wade a victory at the long jump. The field is buzzing to sunset, but guess
It
what? The track is
is
buzzing more buzzier.
Belvin
was here.
Israel. Balvin Israel. That's it.
Balvin
Balvin
Israel.
Israel. Yes. Thank you, Duan. I hope I called it correct. And thank you so much for joining and commenting in the last couple of seconds. All right, guys. So remember, you can check us out on Instagram. That's Sanzi_lifestyle. And also here on YouTube. We're on Facebook, Sanzi Lifestyle Media. Guys, we're on TikTok and we are growing. All right. So tomorrow is day 3. It I hope it's going to be a little bit cooler than today with no rain. Yes. So see you guys tomorrow and thank you again, Wayne and Davian. I really appreciate you both for coming in the last minute.
Past the
Uh,
bedtime.
well, Duan is asking for point standing on the boys. Wade, do you have the point standing? I know you were talking about it earlier before we started the
Point
live.
standing on the boys' side. Just a second. Let me just pull it up here, Sunset.
All right, so he's pulling it up. So we're going to post it for you, Duan.
Well, the last point standing on the boys' side I am seeing here, it would have been after the 100 meters for the class 2 boys. The class 1 boys is not updated as yet. At that time, Jamaica College was at 56, KC at 50, States at 17, 16 for Excelsior, St.
Hold on,
Jago rounding out
hold
the
on,
top
wait,
5
wait,
at 15.
wait. Let's go again. JC 56, KC,
50,
yeah,
States at 17, Excelsior at 16 and St. Jago at 15, rounding out the top 5.
And just to add, the boys class 1 long jump would not have been added to that
Yeah,
either.
neither the 100-meter
Yeah.
boys either.
Class 1. So we're waiting on 2 events to be added at this point.
all right. So
But
I'm
I
sorry, go ahead.
just want to say, Calabar, any talk of Calabar challenging any at all this year? I think after day 2, I think those talks should be put in the bin. I don't see Calabar challenging this year.
There is no, the Calabar is rebuilding.
Yeah.
Not challenging, but
I expected
rebuilding.
them to put on a better show. I'd admit it. But I think what they did though, Wade, is that they tried to challenge as much as possible. And if you know the story of the dog with the bone, you go for the one in the bush and you end up losing the one in the hand. I think that may have happened for them. If you look at Anderson in the boys class, two long jump, he had already fouled two jumps, and I was thinking, hey, third jump, he's going to take it easy and get into top 8. He went for it and didn't work out for him. They also had a second athlete who was competing in the high jump and the long jump at the same time. I thought that was unnecessary. Pick somebody, and if there's a clash, then go for the surer point. So I think they were trying at some point in these championships to see if they can get up there, but they're just not there yet. And that resulted in them.
Major casualties.
Yeah. I mean, as well as even in the 100 meters, Shaquan Gordon, uh, I always thought that he was better than Kimani. Kimani ahead of him. So I mean, they told me that Kimani was in fantastic form. So I was saying, okay, Kimani in fantastic form. That means Shaquan Gordon is ahead of him. That's not how it turned out for Calabar. So at this point, I think if they had any inclinations of maybe keeping it close and waiting on somebody to make a mistake, that's not going to happen for Calabar. I think they're going to struggle to score even 250 points.
Not writing off Calabar yet
No,
in
not
terms
right
of
them off,
points.
but
In terms of points,
not
but in terms
happening.
of championship, they are very far from it.
Yeah.
A top 5 finish definitely, but in terms of championships, I don't see them in the vying right now for championships. I think even Exed would have been a better name place over them based on performance and the number of finals right now compared to a Calabar. And
It's not
this was
happening for
obvious
Calabar.
yesterday from the 1500-meter heats yesterday. It spelled some trouble there from the 1500-meter heat. So I think they just have to just look at what they would have had on the drawing boards and see how best they can look at where they would have made some errors and
I
try to
mean,
come back again next
don't
year.
wait, not to cut you, but I mean, it's not happening for them this year. But if you look at the long-term connotations, Kimani Gordon, first year one,
Mm-hmm.
Shaquan Gordon, first year one, both of them made it to the finals, and they're going to return next year. Class 2, they had Byron Walker, first year 2, he's
Mm-hmm.
going to return next year. So
Mm-hmm.
they have some positives to take away from the championships, because when you have first year athletes who are making top 8, if they can remain healthy for the following year, you're expecting them to step up and to maybe get onto the podium and score
At the
some.
podium, if not the top of the podium.
There you go.
Definitely, definitely.
I know you guys. I know, gentlemen, you want to stay all night, but we gotta be out because Wade is gonna be home tomorrow.
Wait, I got that.
So David,
No,
you and I,
I am going to be in the stadium tomorrow, Sunset. I am definitely going to be in the stadium tomorrow. I'm catching the fever now, so I'm definitely going to be in the stadium tomorrow. I
Wow.
like the hurdle. I definitely like
Davian,
what I see in the
we,
hurdles.
I taking him at his word. So if he's
Well,
not in
Davian, if you want to find me in the stadium, I'm always sitting in row E. I only sit if rain or shine.
row
I
E,
am in row E.
not a problem.
so I'll take
Sandy,
a shot and send it to you, Davian, just in case he's not up there. But thank you
yeah,
so
yeah.
much again, gentlemen. I really appreciate having you here. Thank you, Duan. Thank you, Kermit. Thank you, everyone else that joined that didn't get a chance to comment. Just remember to like, subscribe, share, and watch the entire videos, guys. Let us get this thing blowing up. Again, I really appreciate everyone and see you all tomorrow.
Have a
Same
good
number.
one. Get some rest, team.
Bye.
All right, bye.
Bye bye.